the program.
For having me this morning.
Great. So this is obviously good news for Dangote refinery, but should Nigerians see this as good news?
It is good news. First and foremost, you make more money from exporting refined products than exporting crude. Two, it's Dangote refinery is part of a conglomerate, what we call a sub-Saharan African conglomerate that is competing with global markets. And therefore, spreading the tentacles and diversifying your markets helps you to stabilize things. So Dangote is exporting, it's going to be exporting across the whole of West and Central Africa. It's a 685,000 barrels a day single train refinery, the largest in the world. Now, therefore, it is important for it to have markets. Large Dangote not long ago visited Angola with a view to actually establishing some business links, especially refining capacity in Angola. So if you have Angola, you have Cameroon, probably have Equatorial Guinea. That makes it extremely competitive and puts on solid footing. Don't forget that this is a $23 billion investment. We just heard yesterday that Uganda is trying to invest $4 billion equity only in a new refinery coming up. So basically what we are seeing is that refineries are becoming hub events. In other words, you have the concentrate in one area, like in Singapore, like in Houston, like in Mexico. Now we have in Nigeria and covering certain markets. Why is it good for Nigeria and good for Dangote is that it earns dollars. It has more money coming out of the value chain than from producing and selling crude. Now, what follows actually now is what we call the infrastructure spend to make sure that we can evacuate products efficiently, store them efficiently, and also evacuate crude products to the refinery efficiently. And what we are seeing now is that no matter what has happened, the price of petrol, the price of kerosene, the price of diesel has been stable over the last couple of weeks in Nigeria, thanks to the Dangote refinery.
Mr. Rani, so you're saying that Nigerians should not be afraid that this could be a threat to the still very, energy availability and security that we are trying to get. We're just getting excited about consistency when it comes to supply.
Yes, the supply is consistent. We have enough capacity to produce for Nigerian market and for the West and Central African market. No question about that. The question is the logistics of getting crude, the payment system, so that the Dangote refinery has to be paid, has to get supply, and has to have the evacuation mechanism. I think all of that is in place. So these are early days, and I think the market will stabilize. But the beauty is that if you export crude, you probably get $70 a barrel from crude. If you refine crude into a product, you probably get as much as maybe $100 or $120 a barrel. That difference actually accrues, one, to Dangote refinery, two, to Nigeria's external reserves, and helps to ease the pain, as you were just talking about the exchange rate. After exchange rate appreciated in the parallel market by as much as 8% something, went by about 110 naira and then all of a sudden it went back aggressively with a vengeance, and now we are seeing the naira selling at about 17.33 naira to a dollar. And that was already 1,600 about a week ago. So why is this happening? It's happening because of speculation and fear. The fact that we do not know when, people do not know when the next auction will happen. Central Bank is doing its utmost best to put supply in there, but there are structural defects in the market that need to be addressed. And typically at this time of the year, the naira appreciates because of three things. One, cocoa, main crop. Two, visiting family and friends. And three, the improvement in the market structure. All of these things should lead to an appreciation in naira. But we went ahead of ourselves, and the market speculated that the naira was going to appreciate to God knows what. Now we are in that area of stability. It will depreciate a few naira, but then begin to appreciate gradually. Like I said on the news at 10, the currency appreciation is not going to happen significantly until about February 2025. So we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves on that.
I thank you for bringing us back to reality there. Let's not expect too much. Let's be realistic. But thank you so much for sharing your views with us this morning, Mr. Bismarck Rwani.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now we're going to have a conversation on food security. You know, at this time, one big thing, the festivities, there has to be eating and drinking. That's a major part of it. But in the midst of this, we see that the issue of food insecurity is still very prominent in the country. For instance, in the first quarter of this year, it said that the number of food insecure Nigerians increased to 100 million from about 66 million in the first quarter of 2023. So year on year, we've seen about 40 million people are captured more in the area of food insecurity. So now that most likely there's going to be extra demand on food, then what is going to happen? Well, I tell you what, the Director of Corporate and Regulatory Affairs of Olam Agric, you know, Olam Agric, a very big player in the agricultural space in Nigeria, he did say that the issue with food security in Nigeria is not about availability, it's about affordability. So we will delve into that. But let's take a break now and we'll come back on Business Morning on Sunrise Daily.